All right, folks, we're back. Thanks for watching that break. We're getting into Dawson Station right now. It's game number 1, aLive versus Guru. I want aLive to win so we can see aLive versus Nurture in the finals. But on the other hand, that TvZ, I will say that third game is probably the most dull game out of all of them. Was still really good. We had a lot of good points of it, so I would not mind a TvZ finals if it looked anything close to that. But there's some comments to be said about Guru and his playstyle, and well, I guess we'll get into that if we get into that. Spawning here in the middle, top left side of the map. However, he's playing from Korea, coming all the way to the European servers, so really on the away team. It's going to be the Red Terran, aLive.
In the bottom right, as the green Zerg, he is Guru.
Now, aLive has played in a lot of these cups. He's actually won a couple, usually finishes in the semifinals, top 2, top 4 type thing, but he's used to playing off server at this point, and I want to know just how bad that is for him.
I'm not sure. But he seems to, as you said, do very well, and in fact, I know these guys have played each other before. It seems to be that aLive has the better win record, and it's all in these Corsair Cups, by the way. I think there's like one Go for StarCraft they played 7 months ago, but everything else has been the Corsair Cups. And he has the better win record. Yeah. So, European server does not matter to aLive.
Twitch chat saying the donation sounds should be louder. I don't know, guys. On one hand, I want to believe that you're not trolling me, and in sincerity, I could potentially make it louder. But it's already so loud for me, and I don't know why it's so loud for me, but not for Zombie Grub or anyone else. But it like, it's like a megaphone in my ears.
I manually changed it in my volume mixer for Firefox, so I'm smart like that. But yeah. I think you also maybe put it down since we first tested it, because I feel like it wasn't that far down. Like, it's actually kind of quiet to me, but I prefer it. Since I have to listen to it over and over again.
I'll turn it up a smidge. Not much, but a smidge.
Okay, then. Where does the sound come from for you? Wouldn't that come from Ob?
It comes from XSplit.
Yeah, sorry, XSplit? Yeah.
And if I turn no, because if I turn XSplit down,
yeah,
it turns all the other game sounds down.
Right. Feels bad.
Alright.
Well.
Actually, wait, volume's at 100%, so I don't know. I can't actually increase the volume, apparently.
Oh, on the Twitch alerts?
Yeah, like on the actual Twitch alerts page.
Oh, weird. I guess I did put it down way too low. Well, SCV, I don't know what you were planning on doing, but that's not gonna work. No bunker for you.
No. Crazy's gonna make sure that. I mean, if Guru is gonna hit him with roaches, and it looks to be the case, I'm wondering if this will be just like that 3 to 4. You make 3 Ravagers and pick off depots. aLive seems to think that'll be the case, so a bunker comes down, and this could be a little bit annoying because you could lose your reactor alongside those depots. Like, just checking vision. Yeah, he sees this.
Yeah, I'm not sure how aLive saw what Guru was doing. His Reaper got in and got right out.
You know what? This may have just been predictions because of how common this is on the map to do.
Yeah,
same way with like the way gold interacts, right? Like, oh hey, Reaper, nice.
I just really wonder because it seems like he noticed one small thing that was like, oh, I should. Maybe he was just like, oh, you took a gas. That's reason enough. let's go defend. But something must have tipped him off a little, because it's not on. It's like this is a fairly common build to do for sure, but it's not like there's no Zerg players that don't play standard otherwise. Oh well. Splatty goes down. No saving that, but he can still put a wall if he was really worried. He's not so worried though.
Yeah, you just put that other depot or bunker up there, but he wants to keep that reactor alive, no pun intended, and I think that's actually a nice priority. Unfortunately, until that tank's out, though, there's just nothing to be done about these annoying Ravagers, and this is great for Guru. It's such a small investment to cause so much annoyance for a Terran.
If he knew there was nothing following this up, so even 10 lings, slow lings, are behind these Ravagers, moving down the ramp would be a mistake.
Oh, auto repair just screwed some SCVs.
Yeah, it did.
Feels
if
bad.
he knew it was literally only 3 Ravagers, he could have just brought the SCVs with Marines and shoot this away.
Yeah, but
shoot away.
I think there's this stigma for foreign players, combined with the fact that Guru has done a lot of all-ins in the past. I actually think it's really smart that aLive played that as carefully as he could. It sucks because it puts him behind considerably, but it could have been worse if he had played right into Guru's own hands.
That's true.
Guru, by the way, takes a massive income lead. Not only is it a gold base, but way more workers than aLive. And even with mules, he's not even keeping up.
Yeah. I think aLive had to cut SCVs once or twice, and then he got supply blocked, so he should be at a higher SCV count for sure.
A lot of these drones are really low from the Reaper constantly grenading. If that tank gets back here, I mean, the Ravagers will eventually take down the rocks, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But, man, this tank should get some kills. Maybe not the Queens, but at least the drones.
Yeah, the drones do have to get out of there. Nice move. Because even if the rocks are broken down without speedlings, which I guess they're on their way now, that tank could just try and take down a couple Ravagers too. But now there's 20 speedlings, and this really shouldn't get anything else. Unless he target fires the drones, which I think is, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that would reach from up there. But okay, that's cool.
Right? But 5 drones, as long as the tank survives, is totally worth. And he could even maybe get one more blast if he's really risky, with letting the tank get a couple of shots of damage.
It helped bring the worker count closer for certain. But while this went on, aLive's production's kicking up. And because he never lost that reactor, he actually has quite a few Marines out. You gotta consider, this Marine count will probably be like 30% less if he didn't have the reactor pump in those units. So plenty of units to go for a push, and I'm getting worried for Guru now, because he's not gonna have anything to stop the stim bio.
Yeah. Oh, this is a nice move.
Well,
I was also
that
gonna say
that was a shitty wall.
That aLive, and he just lost 5 SCVs, but even without losing SCVs, he wasn't building many. There's been a lot of times where I've looked back and he's just not building SCVs. And sometimes it seems on purpose because he's building production, and sometimes it just seems like he's focused elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that wall he did. It's kind of happening again now. It's the wonkiest wall off, but he does get it down. With that back door secured, now it feels comfortable to move out with tanks in the air. I love watching this fleet move out, by the way. It's kind of cool. Tanks in the air, Liberator in tow, and a lot of Marines underneath this. He should be able to take any sort of fight he wants. Just stims right into it. Tanks couldn't unload because he was controlling the Marines. Wanted to dodge those corrosive biles. Tanks get a little bit low. 1 goes down, 2 goes down, but the entire Ravager army disappears. Liberator sets up in the main, by the way. This is not only going to kill the Queen, kills production. Eggs won't be able to hatch. More roaches will not be able to reinforce.
Yeah, a couple of lings distract. That Queen's finally going to get it as well, but the front went so poorly. You can see
this is where the lair is!
And it almost worked. Pouncing on top of it almost worked, but it severely backfired because aLive was actually his army.
You got a little bit too greedy with the Marines, left the tanks completely exposed, and this will stop the push. But aLive, not so much better for this. You pointed out he didn't have a lot of SCVs in the first place. He really hasn't replaced the ones he lost earlier. He's sitting on 25 workers, and all in at this point, I don't know if it's going to work. It had momentum, but that's like a past tense thing.
I really wish he would start building SCVs again, but it's entirely in production. Even though he's occasionally had the opportunity to build them, he does get into the back lines here, and I mean he could seriously take Guru down to 25 drones with proper micro, and his tank pushes should still always be scary. I do wonder if it's going any better. The wall finally up, by the way, to stop the Ling counterattack.
Oh, he's not repairing it, though.
His front push is taken care of, and that is it.
Guru takes the first game off of aLive in the best of 3 semifinals. Not bad. Not bad at all. I gotta say, though, for a moment, it really did look like aLive was ready to run through and win. And I wonder, if he had stopped and killed that layer, and maybe if he had been building SCVs at some point behind it, what it was, there was a couple, I feel like, what-if points in that game where he could have turned that around.
Yeah, I think if he had just used the ramp and the tanks were a bit farther away, just got everything that was running down, he could have killed the third base, or the natural, actually, as it was.
Well, it's going to be aLive's pick for the second map, so we'll go to a small break while we get this sorted, because I need to run to the bathroom anyways, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes for game number 2. Sorry for so many commercials. Be right back. Alright, folks, thanks for watching that break. We're getting into game number 2 here in the semifinals of the Corsair Cup. Quick reminder that this wouldn't be possible without this sponsorship involvement, so guys, make sure to check out all the Corsair links down below. Visit the website, consider buying their equipment. I will tell you, while we don't have a lot to say about the PC innards, such as the RAM and other things Corsair makes, headsets, keyboards, peripherals, we can vouch for days, because we use their shit every single day. So make sure to check it out. But Spawning here on the bottom right side, once again coming from Korea, it is going to be the blue Terran player aLive. Currently down 1 game.
And top left as the green Zerg, he is Guru.
So, the winner of this will go on to fight against Nurchio. Why don't you give me your thoughts on both of those while I force you to buy time in order for me to eat the rest of this banana?
I love that you're so considerate to ask me questions to buy time, but
I
sometimes I could actually just talk about other stuff too.
I just ditch you. I was like, peace out. I'm eating a banana.
It's like I could have just filled the space with other things, but anyway, I guess to your question, aLive should have, I felt, won that game, done a little better on a couple of different fronts. If he does the same, like if he wins 2-1 for other reasons, whatever his other builds are, the other maps are, I don't know if he's really gonna be able to face Nurchio that well. At this point, it seems like you have to have pretty perfect play to defeat Nurchio in a TvZ, so I'd have a lot more faith if Guru got through. But even then, that TvZ would probably still go like 3-1 Nurchio, I would guess.
Well, there's that, and it's just like, Nurchio's already kicking the ass of a lot of Koreans. Especially...
That too. He's like +5 to Koreans.
Yeah. He's literally enchanted. Poland, they gave him a sausage, and that sausage, it was paired up with pierogies, and those two things combined create a magical recipe that if you sit for 10 seconds while eating, you get a buff.
Pierogies are hit and miss, man.
They really
Sometimes
are.
They're delicious.
What's the hit or miss for you with the pierogies? Is it the way they're cooked on the outside or the way the insides are made?
Insides. I don't like fried pierogies.
Interesting. Okay, I'm opposite. I couldn't care less whether they're I couldn't care less whether it was like potatoes or cheese or anything on the inside, as long as it's fried on the outside. I don't mean like deep fried, but I mean like, you put them in the pan.
Yeah.
Feels kind of nice.
I really like as a kid, because I actually was like, part of my family is like Slovak Polish, right? Ate a lot of Polish food. I would always just eat the outer edges of the dough, right? Like,
That's gross.
Cinch it close, and then I just leave everything else, because like no matter what was in it, I wouldn't want to eat it. Now I like the potato one fine.
Well, so I grew up with an Asian family, so gyoza and stuff is usually not squishy and a lot more crispy, and I think that's why I like it for pierogies, because they're kind of like pierogies. But I was just gonna mention, you the way you described it, you also sound like that one kid who would actually eat the crust on their bread growing up.
Oh, I did.
Yep, figures. So obvious.
Wow. I used to love bologna sandwiches with ketchup. That's something I remembered recently, and I was like, ugh.
Yo, you know what? That's that's one of those things I think helps bond the friendship here. The fact that you're one of the only other people I know that likes ketchup on things.
I don't think I'd like ketchup bologna sandwiches anymore, but I do love ketchup. Like, I had mac and cheese yesterday, and I just ketchup all over that thing.
Oh man, I want mac and cheese. Every time we talk, actually, I saw this Terry Crews thing, mac and cheesy. Did you see that?
No.
It's Terry Crews teaching how to make his own family traditional mac and cheese. It's called mac and cheesy.
Amazing.
Alright, Tank gonna come out on that back rocks, but unfortunately for aLive, typical Terran tactics aren't gonna cut it, and the Reaper didn't actually swing by to scout, so I don't think he knows that the rocks are being torn down. Timing may still help him snipe off these lings and prevent the rocks from easily being taken down, but there's no way he gets away with the classic bunker and... Oh, that was a nice creep tumor snipe.
Nice. Yeah, there's actually been a couple of really good early game moments that, like, overall is not going to affect the game, but I guess it's like morale boosting. It's pretty good. So that one Reaper got a drone, and then creep tumor went down, and this is some decent damage. Again, it's kind of like a more old-fashioned way of doing a build on King Sejong, but it's actually getting something done because the rocks weren't broken down super quickly. This does mean that, like, there's a bunch of reasons why you don't see these type of pushes anymore. And a lot of it has to do with, okay, so the tank does a bit of damage, denies a bit of mining, that's great, that's fantastic, but what else? Like, what does it follow up with? And unfortunately, the follow-up is pretty pushed off.
Oh.
You can see Stim is only halfway done. Not even.
I did not know you could land here. I've never seen anyone take a tank to this position before.
I think I knew that, but it's usually queens are on top of it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, normally if you push back, it'd be too dangerous. But anyways, this thing's up to about 15, 16 kills. Granted, it's mostly lings, so it's not too special, but regardless, free kills are still good at the end of the day. Guru's actual supply, or sorry, excuse me, resources lost, looking pretty nasty. And while he did have an income advantage for a while, looks like aLive's kicked up in that regard. So attack comes to his third. He can always lift it. It's already an orbital after all. And I think that the Marines, timed out with their stim, should be good enough to fight anything coming his way. Just not out in the open. Oh, he's getting like baited.
Yeah, this is a little bit questionable. He's gonna go for it. Neither of their upgrades are done, but that's
This is
too
so
many
bad
wings.
though, because aLive's losing a lot of Marines so close to his upgrades. That's the worst part of this.
Yeah, this is like it's just like a. I should take this and just showcase why people don't do these type of openers anymore. But
Hey,
that was just nice timing from Guru.
You know, just a side note, that would actually be great because you're doing build order tutorials on your channel, and that's cool. But to show reasons like why people don't do things would also be cool. I would actually be someone to be more interested in that than actual build orders.
Yeah, people. I mean, they were suggesting things to do with the build orders, and I've thought about it, but it's really scary to do any permanent content, shall I say, with technical analysis. Because like during a cast, I feel like maybe they weren't listening, or maybe they won't bother finding the bot. But if I actually try and sound smart on a YouTube video, I'm gonna fail.
Well, that's when you just start deleting comments. 31 kills on this tank, by the way. What a beast. Double Widowmine drops coming on that left side, and while a regular attack comes down the middle, yeah, the combat shields are still late to this. He doesn't have that one. He has 1-1, which is nice, but still no combat shields. Taking up to 39 kills. Oh, man. Do you think this guy hits triple digits this game?
That tank is an impressive tank. As far as these openers go, that's one tank that makes up for everything else. But
this is a tank, by the way, that reminds me of like an Archon mode dedicated tank, right? When someone would like focus on that and like it would get up 40, 50 kills. I think my high score was like 70, but that was also when we were playing against really bad people, so it doesn't really count.
That's, yeah. I miss Archon.
It was a lot of fun, man. Blizzard let it die, though. They really dropped the ball on it, and that's so disappointing. Archon mode was seriously some of the most fun I think I had playing this game. Not just with you, but just like generally speaking. Like, I still enjoy co-op. I still enjoy playing arcade, but Archon mode, man.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest thing was certainly the lack of opponents. So, never gonna play it ever again. Unless they fix it, then maybe I'll play it.
I get the idea of not like wanting to let random queues happen, because like while there's enough trolling in 2v2 games already, it could be worse with Archon, right? And that's an annoying thing to have to deal with. But I feel that bringing life to the game is better than letting it die.
I agree. Like
not to mention, we've been over so many times. There's so many aspects of like co-op that could be copy pasted into Archon that they never did.
I really hate the whole like we don't want it to be worse, because like okay, so don't make solo queue available in Overwatch, because everyone knows that's the most terrible thing in the world. Like yeah, no, but you're gonna do it, and it's an important factor. So let it happen in Archon mode too.
All right, pretty important timing from aLive here. Those banelings not quite ready to go just yet, but they're hatching, and there's a lot of them. So even with Widowmines getting really great hits here, it's gonna be hard to overcome 20 banelings. Speed's also about to finish too. Widowmine goes off on the Queen. He needs to make sure that other one doesn't go off on much. Unfortunately, if it does go off on these lings, he won't have it for the Banes, and aLive has to pick up and fall back.
Run! Well, he's out of room.
No room for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Widowmine's unfortunately not getting the greatest hits. One of them two of them are still alive. 3, including the one on the defensive. But I'm looking more towards the ones that aren't cleaned up on the offensive, and I'm like worried watching the banelings roll through.
So
no.
His earlier Reaper was killed, and I guess you just made another on accident, mistake.
Aha. That happens.
Those guys end up eating the baneling hit, so he can't unload them the way he wanted to heal them up. Nice response out of Guru to follow that up. aLive's army supply, though, his upgrades for a small second or two here, but everything looks not bad for him. But the fact that 8 infestors are coming out for Guru, they're not going to have the fungal growth straight away. But if he gets time to use 8 infestors worth of fungals, you might not even need the banelings to kill the units. The fungals alone might do it.
Just chain them.
He's not spread.
Around here, but all the banelings are gone, so...
Yeah, this is where Bio's going to power through. Because he's moving to Hive, because he just put so much gas into infestors, he doesn't have a lot to build more units with.
But aLive doesn't advance. He's figuring there's like 20 more banelings forming, which is usually the case.
Usually the case, yeah.
but he's totally wrong, and he doesn't even clear up creep with that. That was actually an amazing engagement he's not really taking advantage of.
And this is a lot of timing wasted too, because let's not forget Guru. Everything he wants this time, every second he buys matters, because that gets him closer and closer to Ultras, gets him closer and closer to that Hive Tech finishing up. And Guru's ready to go for a fight this time, by the way. He's got the time, the Infestors have the energy. There's 8 Fungals ready to go on top of a very small Terran army.
It's still, it's scary for both sides, really. Everything hits for Guru, bam. But aLive is 60 army supply up. Oh, the Fungals and all the air units. Oh, there's Ravagers.
Oh, the Baneling looking for the Widowmines. Okay, the Widowmine gets the Banelings. Either way, it works.
What are you doing? No.
Giving themselves away. They can't retreat back because the Liberators are set up, actually. So this ends up being a terrible fight for Guru. Mistakes were made. And not only does he have no Infestors left, he has no army.
That's it. I think aLive just wins from here. He's on a fourth base.
If he does, then I'm going to balance wine like crazy.
Wait. Oh, if Guru wins.
Yeah, if Guru can win off of this position with like 3 Ultras that have no chitinous plating, then fuck Zerg.
I can't believe he did that. I don't know if he was thinking he didn't want to retreat back out to the Liberators, which is usually a fair point, but not with Lings and Banelings, because all he really had to do was be defensive, and Fungals could have bought him so much time.
He went off of creep, he really extended, I mean...
Yeah, he doesn't do better than he did.
There's a handful of mistakes that happened with that fight, and aLive, I'm not going to say he should have lost that fight, but he shouldn't have won it so easily, or so one-sidedly. And now, the push comes and it's going to be the death blow. There's going to be Ultras, but they won't have chitinous plating, so the Marines can still deal a lot of damage. The 3-3 is actually seconds away from finishing him out. 20 seconds, and you have 3-3 on the bio.
If aLive didn't have a 4th command center or a Ghost Academy already on the way, I would say there's potential. But,
he's going to snipe chitinous. That's it.
Yeah, that is it.
No chance to survive. Make your time.
Well,
all your base belong to us.
King Sejong has been typically very good for Terran, so it's not so surprising to see his pushes work, but I really feel like Guru was in a, not a great position, but a good one after the early game. Even with the tank at like 40 kills, that was an amazing tank. I'm talking about like the Marines that he pounced upon, and just the fact that he got to 4 and then 5 bases.
That tank wasn't like 40 drone kills either or anything. That was just mostly Lings, but still 40 kills is 40. You never want to see your opponent have a unit that has 40 kills on it.
Yeah.
But man, I thought diving in with the Lings towards that 3rd, baiting aLive out before Stim was done, I thought Guru was doing some things right there. Just that one colossal mistake at the end was really what cost him everything ultimately. So we'll go to game number 3 here, tied up now 1-1, and we might just have aLive go through to those finals. What is the map though?
Apotheosis.
I think this is a really smart pick out of Guru. This seems to be one of the ones. This and Gettysburg seem to be favoring Zerg a little bit more recently.
Oh yeah, it is a safe go-to. Guru, you just here. Please accept. Oh, that's right. We have to do co-op. Speaking of, we have to do co-op.
So the new one is the one we got to test at the summit, and they told us there's like no way we could possibly let this go live, right? And we see that that's this week's mutation. I'm like, oh no, so many people are gonna write like complaints to Blizzard about it.
I wonder if they changed something. I saw a screenshot of it and it looks the same, and the timing sounds similar, like every 30 seconds it changes position, but like I wonder if maybe they put like a dot somewhere so it's less headache inducing, or they're just like F it.
I wonder more so if it's watching it is as sickening as playing it. I guess.
Were people watching it behind us and said that it was?
I don't recall. That's why.
I was okay with it, actually. We had to take it very calmly. You couldn't try and spam, or that would just give you a headache, but I already learned how to spam in that one mercenary mod, so I'm good.
Mercenary? Oh, microtransactions?
Yeah, microtransactions. There we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, talk about co-op more in a little bit, and I want to expand a little bit more on our Archon mode discussion, since that did seem to spur some questions out of chat. We'll go into that in a moment, guys, but for now, we got to get into game number 3. Winner of this game goes on to fight against Nergio. Top left side of Apotheosis. It was his map pick. It's going to be True Esports Guru.
In the bottom right, as the Red Terran, he is aLive.
All right, so the Archon mode thing, people seem to be misunderstanding, and I want to make this very clear. Blizzard's not discontinuing Archon mode. That's not disappearing from the game or anything like that. The problem is, though, they've and this is coming from my point of view. So I'm going to say that this is my opinion and this is not a fact, and this is something that you can disagree with, and you're totally in the right to disagree with it. But in my opinion, I think Blizzard really messed up on their advertisement for Legacy of the Void. And not entirely because it was their fault. I don't think they saw co-op taking off as big as it did, and I think they put a lot more money in Archon mode. I mean, if you guys recall BlizzCon last year, they flew out old school players that probably cost them like 5 figures just to get to BlizzCon type thing, like Boxer and Yellow and all these guys, to play Archon mode, to promote it, to hype it up. And then we cast a ton of Archon mode tournaments, and they were really fun, but we all came down to the same problem, where observing it made it difficult to really differentiate it from any normal 1v1 unless the commentators were doing a really good job of like pointing out something that someone else was doing if they knew that was the case. Or B, playing it, you don't have the same tools as co-op mode. You can't see each other's camera on the mini-map, for example. You can't see where they're looking, where you're looking. You don't have a good way to communicate with each other, even if you are on Skype or something like that. It kind of sucks because there are so many little minor tweaks that would make it better, that would make more players play it, and if more players were playing it, then the low queue time, or the long queue times, and the low population for the Archon mode queues wouldn't be the problem. So I've mentioned this to people at Blizzard pretty much every time I've ever had the opportunity to. They're aware of it. It's really not high on their priority list to fix, and they are focusing on a lot of other things. And I can't talk about the other things because we know about them. You know, Summit, bragging, all that stuff. But there's a lot of really good things on the way for StarCraft. So while I'm being a little bit of a negative Nancy about this one topic of it, it's because I love this. I loved Archon mode. There's like actual passion there for me, and it just kind of sucked to see it not be it properly attended to, I guess.
I agree. It's what's really unfortunate too is that even back when they were really trying to push it, when in like retrospect they should have pushed co-op, they weren't planning on fixing it. So that was also really depressing. Like, you know, why don't you add this co-op thing? You know, I don't think that's our focus right now. Oh, okay. I guess it's gonna die off then.
I will say though, speaking of co-op, we know for a fact, guys, more people play co-op than do normal multiplayer in Archon mode and campaign and arcade or anything like that. And I really like co-op, and I think it's one of the best parts of the game, but there's no advertising for it. So it really frustrates me when I'm talking to like a group of WoW people who used to play StarCraft back in like Wings of Liberty and stopped playing. And I'm trying to tell them about this co-op mode, and they don't understand because they think I'm talking about the campaign or something. I'm like, no, it's this really cool game mode that's individual and awesome, and Legacy of the Void just brings so many good things. And StarCraft is still such a really great game. Hell, that's why we're still here, right? I just wish that you know, we're too small. We don't have a big name like Total Biscuit or Blizzard or these other guys to push out that sort of stuff. And they're not going to... No. They've got no incentive to do it. So I don't blame them for not, but it's just like, man, I wish they would.
I haven't thought about it in a long time, but it is kind of depressing how fun Archon mode was, and then it was just like, it's not even a thing I think about anymore. I know they still have the button, but I don't even...
don't even consider it.
Like,
actually,
in what order? I don't know.
The best Archon mode thing is actually one of Nate's higher viewed videos on his YouTube channel. That tournament we played in, you, me, and him. And it was that really sick game where we played TvZ against 2 like Zerg pros. It was the 3 of us playing Terran. That was like probably the best time playing Archon mode, aside from our Masters promotion.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a lot of reasons why I got a lot of views, but...
By the way,
anyway.
That is 100% me giving Nate free advertising. If anyone wants to find that VOD and link it, because that was seriously like super fun, super cool, super awesome good times.
It was. So, all that aside, I guess, bit of a rant moment there, but aLive is going for another one of these like odd older builds. So it's not like it's odd, but it is older. You know, tank, very safe opener. That's one thing, is that he's definitely safe with the tank openers, even though I would argue 2-1-1 is pretty safe as well. Anyway, he has the tanks, and he's even growing the tanks at an earlier time, so maybe by the time he does push, he'll have maybe 5 or 6. That would be pretty good. But he doesn't have a lot of presence, you know? Like, 1 medevac is not that much to really scare the Zerg player anymore. It hasn't been for months, especially after the Queen change. So... Guru picking Apotheosis, and it combined with the way that aLive is playing Apotheosis, he has a lot of time to feel very comfortable.
Yeah, that's true. You know, actually, it's aLive's not hitting these really fast 1-1s like I think we're used to seeing. And this time we're actually going to have a decent setup when it comes to these upgrades. So if it is going to be 1-1 with stim pretty quick, then any sort of push, even on a long map like this, that initial push can do a lot of damage. And if it does, well, then the map length might not matter so much.
I'm interested to see how it goes, as this is the older style of play. You kind of have this one main push. With the other style, you have drop, 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 then maybe main push. Anyway, it's a difference. And Apotheosis has pluses and minuses to both ways of playing. The plus minus to this for aLive is that plus chokes, ramps, bridges, great for tanks, great for a main push. Minus,
just lift it, just lift it, just lift it, bro.
Just lift it. Minus, he gives a lot of time for Guru to feel confident. So Guru's even gonna go to an Aspire here. Needling bling. Interesting.
aLive has been a ship on this base. I don't think he needed to.
Yeah. Well, I also think that he should have just taken the gold in the first place.
I mean, there's things to be said about the gold, but I mean, with tanks that he could have brought over, these are just lings. I don't know. Like, that just felt like he gave up that base too easily. He scans on the other side of the map to see what Guru's doing, and what he's going to confirm is that with gold base, yep, Guru's got a really awesome economy. In fact, reflected really well by this tower of green he's building on the income graph.
Tower. Well, he does just take the gold, which I think is better.
But it's still on fire.
Though.
He hasn't repaired this yet.
Oh my god, he's gonna kill it. Oh, okay.
Look, they still might. It's burning. There's no SCVs coming. There's no SCVs on the way. He just walled off
aLive,
too.
What are you doing? aLive was so paranoid about losing Marines like he did last game that he forgot to
oh my god.
save his command center.
aLive, don't give us a ZVZ finals. At least not like this. Tanks unload. Marines are surrounded. A terrible engagement is had, and aLive is just falling apart. I don't know what's going on with him this game.
It's very weird. At least he saved his command center.
Yeah, but he had to like bring a mule for it, like.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. Still decent upgrades and decent army, you know, pulled back, I suppose. So he saved the tanks, I guess is the best I can say for him. But aLive, this is one of those problems with the main pushes. It's not consistent damage, it's not early damage. And since it's not consistent, every single time he's entirely pushed back like this, Guru just will explode with macro. Like, he's already up to enough drones. He doesn't have to get any more. Well, apparently he is. He's going to go up to 70 plus. But he knows he can wait for, like, you know, important upgrades like the Baneling speed timing. He can start pushing his creep a little bit more. He does get a 5th base. I didn't even realize that aLive hadn't gotten combat shields yet. I guess he didn't either. That's awkward.
So, by the way, just clarifying this, when I had name dropped Total Biscuit earlier, I was not implying anything close to the sort that he needs to do anything. There's nothing. I can't even begin to fathom me trying to tell Total Biscuit to do something. I was just saying somebody much bigger than us doing StarCraft, and he's probably the biggest name I can think of.
Oh yeah. People are just crazy. I don't know why they think that.
Yeah, it's at this point where I'm just used to just throwing out disclaimers now, like, because you know people are not actually dumb enough to, but you know they're gonna do it anyways.
They're gonna clip this and send it to him and say like what they're saying about you.
Yeah,
which is what they did from him to us.
Yeah,
so.
with the whole G2A thing, just rolling my eyes like, guys, can you all calm down? Anyways,
right.
Big fight in the bottom left side. Not that many banelings here, so not a fight for Guru to really take. aLive though. I can't believe the colossal mistake he made with that push, right? Severe miscontrol, awkwardness with the command center, all these things going wrong for him, but he's still in this fighting. His 2-2's finishing up, his combat shield's just finished, his army supply doesn't look bad. But even off of creep, man, this is a hell of a lot of banelings. This is going to be a couple of mutas paired up too to pick off the medevacs. Good map, says Guru. Oh.
Huh.
I feel like that's a little bit rude.
Well, Guru's been getting in trouble lately for rude things, so it's not surprising. But it's so... To him, it might look like good map. But to us, there's so many other things, plus the map that aLive did. I wouldn't blame it entirely.
Widowmine's going to be an interesting aspect of this, because, of course, it does take 4 Widowmines to kill a cluster of mutas, but if they're spread out, the splash damage still might be enough for the Marines to focus them down quickly. But Guru's been given a lot of time to set up for this attack. He's coming in from about every angle possible. And aLive, man, aLive's got to show us like the most Korean Terran he's ever done in his life if he wants to live through this. This is a maxed out army coming out of Guru, by the way. 22 more banelings coming through, I guess, here on the right side. Oh, God.
funnily enough, see it's going very poorly for Guru too,
If
though.
if aLive were actually to sacrifice one side and focus on the other, I can actually see that going really well for aLive.
He's pre-splitting, so he's not really focusing on one side. Oh, now he does.
Banelings don't get to connect on much. That's the problem coming off speed. Lots of Banelings focused by the tanks. Get the SCV line. Oh god, the Marines on the wrong side of the Marauders. Nobody expected the command center to go down, not with that much splash damage. Luckily, he did start another, but damn, that's the gold base missing. However, we do need to draw our attention to the resources lost and consider just how expensive that was for Guru. Not to say that aLive is that much better off for it. There's still Ultralist Caverns and round 2 coming up soon, but man, that was not a cheap fight for Guru to kill 14 SCVs in the command center.
No, it wasn't. And just imagine if he hadn't killed the command center. Imagine if aLive immediately lifted. That actually probably would have been a really bad trade.
It's like, imagine if Marine King built a bunker. Like, what? Climb down from that cloud that you're on right now and join us back here on reality.
Yeah, apparently aLive's all about not lifting command centers today. So it's something that that really could have gone quite poorly for Guru. It was an attack of being very confident in the game overall. So it happens a lot in Apotheosis, I would say. In fact, that's one of the reasons that Solar ended up losing the best of 9 in that finals. Got really overconfident in Apotheosis. It happens so often.
I mean, you get
the total control over the game.
You got the good map aspect to it, right? As said by Guru. And yeah, the confidence could be a thing. I am worried. So 3-3 and a hell of a lot of Marauders. Off of Creep, not a lot of support, no Infestors, no Fungals, just Lings, Banelings, and Ultras. Maybe aLive finds a way to take a fight. I'm actually looking at the numbers on the board, and this doesn't seem so impossible, but it does seem unlikely.
Yeah, that is the best way to put it. I would agree with you. Unfortunately, he's had to pull back again, so he's not hitting before plating. Not that it really would have, but not anywhere close now.
This would have been so nice if this was a planetary, by the way, but he has to make another orbital because he just doesn't have the mules to call down. Eradicates the Lings, though, and Guru's overconfidence kind of showing. He was ahead on resources lost, now behind by about 2,000.
He's still gonna get ultras, and aLive needs to just pray to God he goes through a choke. Which, hey, Guru kind of threw armies away last game. It could happen again.
It's only Lings. SCV's preparing to keep this alive, but he doesn't. So the depot breaks, and now his reinforcements have to deal with the Ling attack. Meanwhile, other side of the map, Lings, Banelings. Can he run away? He's not split. He splits at the last second. It's good enough for the Banelings, but can he deal with the Ultras? They've got the armor. They've got the plating. It looks like Guru's going to be the one to fall back from this fight. But aLive is behind in supply.
Yeah, and he just lost all of his Liberators. I don't even get the siege up. I think they just ran into the mutas. GG. Or smiley face.
Oh, man. Well, that's going to give us a ZVZ finals, guys. It's going to be Guru versus Nurchio. Best of 5 coming up here in a moment. Going to go to commercial break. We'll get this sorted. We got the first map pre-picked, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon.